So Michael Moore decided that he would tweet about Rush Limbaugh's apology, and some people have an issue with some of the wording in his tweets. So Tommy Christopher over at Mediaite, I believe, writes about how Michael Moore tweeted, "Rush, as soon as you started losing the big money from your hate speech, you caved and obeyed the men who pay you. Who's the prostitute now, bitch?"
Damn.
So now people are saying, look, this is a little ironic, right? Because, of course, Rush Limbaugh is very hateful toward women, using words like slut and prostitute. And is Michael Moore any better using words like bitch?
Okay. Well, TYT Supreme Court. So I'm a little torn on this, okay? Because I think Tommy has an interesting point. You know, if you're complaining about, you know, demeaning words towards women, is that really the way to go? Especially if you're saying, ha ha, Rush. On the other hand, it seemed like a nice singer. So I'm a little torn on it. Go ahead, Ann.
I think context is everything, right? Michael Moore is not a hateful person. Michael Moore is not the person who pushes words like feminazi in the media day in and day out, okay? Look, the word bitch, I think, has lost its meaning. I don't think people use that word thinking I'm saying something hateful toward women. You know, people don't kind of say it without thinking about what it truly means. So in this case, I'm giving him a major pass, okay? And as I said, context is everything. It all depends on who says it.
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, you can't just say, because context is everything that liberals say is okay, because they're generally in favor of women's rights.
Right.
And I know you're not saying that. And then the second part of this is, look, he didn't say prick, right? Which is a male version, right? He said bitch in an effort to put him down a little bit, right? And he's putting him down by feminizing him to some degree. So,
but do you think he's knowingly doing that? Do you think he's in his mind saying, okay, I'm going to feminize him, and I'm going to I think he just used that word without really realizing what it means. And I think a lot of people do that. Like I said, bitch has kind of lost its meaning.
Right. And it was such a good insult.
There was another one, by the way. In another one, he says, Ayn Rand would be very pleased with how the free market bitch slapped Limbaugh today.
Okay. Of course, I don't chuckle at that. I can't believe he would use language like that. Okay, Anna Kasparian, how's that?
I give him a pardon.
Okay. Now, understand one other very important part of this, okay, which is that Michael Moore is attacking a powerful target that can defend himself, that's got a national audience, which he claims is very large. Okay, where he can go back and fight. Whereas Rush Limbaugh was targeting a woman who just was telling the story about health issues on her campus. So those disparity in power also is relevant. So we go to the Supreme Court. I would be really surprised if I didn't know which way Chief Justice Godoy was going to vote on this. Yeah, Chief Justice, thoughts?
I will totally give him a pass. It's totally okay. Rush Limbaugh usually gets away with a lot worse things, so this thing is super minor in comparison to what he says.
All right. Jayar Jackson is usually very sensitive towards women's issues, so curious to see which way Justice Jackson goes here.
Come on, dude. I mean, I don't know. Number one, it's a tweet, and it's a response to someone who's obviously putting down women, a specific woman, and actually anyone else who believes the same way she does. He's kind of calling them all the same names. This is beyond like tame to me. This is like, it's what you'd expect, right?
To give you proper context for the bitch comment by Michael Moore, if Rush Limbaugh, for example, had used the word bitch, it depends on how he uses it as well. So, for example, if he says, hey, you know what, I think Harry Reid's a bitch because he folds into Republicans, or, you know, he folds to Obama, whatever thing that the way Rush wants to phrase it, I wouldn't say that that's outrageous, or I wouldn't say that that's out of bounds. I would say it is what it is, and he's, you know, using colorful language to attack a political opponent that has plenty of power. If he takes some random woman that is not involved in politics generally and says, hey, you know what, I think, you know, that person is a bitch, okay? Well, that's a different context, because he's specifically applying it to a woman, and he's using it in a denigrating way, et cetera, in which case I would say that then the word becomes out of bounds within that context, whether it's Rush Limbaugh or Michael Moore. And within the context of Rush Limbaugh, he's said this so many times and demean women in so many different ways that it becomes a little bit more obvious. And in this case, for him, it was the words he used were super obvious to begin with, slut, prostitute, etc., about a woman who didn't have that coming at all. And whereas Michael Moore is attacking a powerful target and obviously is not meaning it in a denigrating way towards women, but simply towards Rush. But overall, even if I abstain here, we've got a clear unanimous decision that Michael Moore is not intending any harm towards women, is not trying to feminize Rush Limbaugh. He's just saying, what happened now, bitch? And let's not lose track of the heart of what Michael Moore said, which is so great, in my opinion, which is that, oh, all of a sudden, who cares about the money? And who changes their opinion based on the money? Oh, it's Rush Limbaugh. And what does that make you? Mm-hmm. I think it's a very fair point by Michael Moore. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the lib TYT Supreme Court has ruled in favor of Michael Moore, and we pardon you.